My favourite subject at Preston is design and technology, especially woodwork and electronics, as you can create things to take home and be proud of. Outside of class, I'm a photographer for the school newsletter, and I'm also a member of the audio team, which helps set up the audio equipment for big events like tonight's opening day. My best moment at Preston was being selected to be a photographer for the school newsletter. Thank you for listening.
Good evening, everyone. I am Neve, and I am here to tell you about my experience in Year 7. Let's start at the beginning, before I came to Preston. Now, I wasn't originally going to attend Preston. Before opening evening, I was going to attend a different school. However, after viewing Preston on open evening, I decided to change my mind. So coming to Preston was ticked off my list. The next decision I needed to make was about choosing my language. I was very fortunate to receive my first choice, Spanish, and get 2 out of my 3 friends that I wanted to be with. Most people were just as fortunate, and everyone that I had talked to was really happy with where they are now. At Preston, at the start of period 1 and 5 every day, we do 10 minutes of reading, and in Year 7, 8 and 9 we also have the library reading. I personally love reading, so I have no complaints, and it also helps everyone to keep up with their reading, so that they are well prepared for their GCSEs. There is a behaviour logging system here in Preston, and if you stay out of trouble and gain lots of merits, you'll be a member of Zero Club and be rewarded for your hard work. I was able to attend a trip to Airhop last year, which was great fun. I hope you enjoy our evening. Thank you.
Our students really are our best advert, and I'd encourage you as you walk around tonight, if you've got a prefect as a tour guide or any of the students as a tour guide, really to ask them as many questions as you can as you go around to find out everything you want to satisfy yourself that Preston could be the school for your special young person. All of the staff as you go around will give you an honest answer, and you've got the opportunity to walk around every area of the school and ask as many questions as you want to. If there are any personal questions to me, or you want to speak to me or any of my senior colleagues as well, then we'll also be around either in here or in the foyer after this talk and at the end of the evening as well. So, to go back to my original questions, how do we help the students feel safe and happy in school so that they can learn? Well, we do lots of things, and the first and most important thing is that we actually get to know the students before they arrive. We do an awful lot of work with transition, whereby we visit every single primary school lots of times to make sure that we've got a really good understanding of every young person. So that when all of the children arrive in September, actually it's just a case of matching names to faces, and we already know the backstories of our students, and are a really, really good place to get going nice and quickly. One of the most important roles within the school is actually that of the academic mentor, that's known as form tutor when we were at school. And the academic mentor sees all of the students twice every single day. First thing in the morning to make sure that the young people are set up for learning and they're okay and everything's alright for them to go on and have a really, really successful day. And then at the end of the morning, just after lunchtime, before the afternoon lesson, again to make sure that everything is okay and to run through the PSHE programme where we have a rolling system of events for those afternoons as well as assemblies. And that's really, really important because that academic mentor is the key person for your child and the key person for you to contact if there's anything in particular that perhaps they've got concerns over or you or them would like support with. And that works really well. One of the things that I've tried to do over the last couple of years since being at Preston is really to improve the communication between home and school. And as well as that academic mentor being a key person within that, pivotal to that system happening, actually we're very, very good now, I think, at communicating with parents and making sure that you're aware of everything that's going on and everything that should be coming home as well, because we all know as parents that sometimes letters get lost in the bottom of the bag and don't quite make their way home. So actually we try to email everything that we send down in paper as well. We've got a school app that you can use, and we're very strong on social media in terms of communicating what's going on. Our Year 7 school really nurtured and really cared for when they arrive. Those of you that have got the flyers from the primary school that your children go to, there are lots of quotes on there from this year's Year 7s about how they feel when they come into the school and how well they've been looked after and nurtured and cared for. And I'd encourage you as you go around again to speak to the Year 7 students and say, how have you found it? You've been here for 4 weeks now. What do you think? Overwhelmingly, their feedback to us is that there was nothing to worry about. It was a really easy process by which they were supported by the staff and the young people as well. And one of the key elements of Preston is our caring environment. So as you walk around and see some of the 400-ish students here tonight, you'll see how smart they are, you'll see how welcoming they are, and how they genuinely want to help. And that's the same for the young people when they start in Year 7, and that's the endearing memory of all the students that came in this cohort. So we do lots in terms of communication, lots in terms of making sure that everything's okay. Next week we have what we call a Welcome to Preston evening for the families of Year 7 students, where we come in and we talk, and we realise actually a lot of the difference from primary school to secondary school isn't just for the children, but actually it's for us as parents as well. It feels quite different. It's quite a different relationship with primary schools where you're able to go in and sometimes have conversations twice a day with classroom teachers or TAs or senior members of staff or a teacher, to actually it being quite a different dynamic of having sometimes 12 or 13 teachers teaching all of the different subjects as well. And we're really conscious of supporting families through that. One of the other ways and reasons that the young people feel incredibly safe when they come into Preston is because we have our basics. And we say to the young people, it's really, really easy to be a successful student at Preston because you just have to follow the basics. And as you can see behind me, that's an acronym for having excellent behaviour for learning and being a really, really good learner, as well as someone that is polite, well-mannered, holds doors open for people, says good morning, looks people in the eye when they're having conversations and uses please and thank yous. And if we're a bit traditional about that, then that's absolutely fine, because those things for me are really, really important. We want young people that have got excellent attendance and punctuality, because the basics aren't just for doing well whilst the students are at Preston, they're setting them up for doing really well in life. We want young people that wear their uniform smartly. Some schools don't put as much emphasis on the young people looking smart as we do. We think that if they're looking smart, then they're thinking smart and they're learning smart as well. We ask all of our students to have a can-do attitude and be interested in learning. That love for what they're trying to do and to really throw themselves into their learning and enjoy what they're doing. That's really, really important to us, and that's the challenge that we set to all of the students. And we ask our students to smile. We want them to smile. When they don't smile, the pastoral systems within the school are really, really strong at picking up a young person that perhaps isn't having the best day or the best week, and actually putting things in place to support them so that the young people feel nurtured and cared for. So once the young people are happy and feeling safe, then they're able to go on and achieve well academically. And the data behind me is from the Year 11 exams last year. So we had 198 students leaving the cohort who progressed through and did really well in their GCSE exams. Schools are judged differently by the government now and by Ofsted now, and you'll notice that in English and Maths last year, A stars, A's and B's are a thing for pass, and we go to grades 9 for the highest, down to 1 for the lowest as well. It's taken quite a change for schools to get used to that, for students and certainly parents to get used to that. By the time your children come through, every single grade that they get will be on a scale from 9 being the highest to 1 being the lowest. And you can see from behind me that not only are we well ahead of national averages on all but one of the measures, but also ahead of lots of the schools in Somerset as well. For example, the amount of students that we've got on grade 5 and above in maths this year was the second highest in the county, only second to one of the high performing schools in Taunton. So we really pride ourselves on trying to be ambitious as we can and those high standards. The one where we're not quite up to the national average was what's called Progress Aid. Again, another new measure from the Department for Education, which measures certain subjects. It measures how well students do within a small select group of subjects. So English, Maths and Science, and our performance there is strong and growing as well, but also humanities and languages. Now some schools who have done well in Progress Aid have lots of students that do all of those subjects. And in a way, they're sort of pushed into having to do all of those subjects. We give the students at Preston an open choice so they can choose the subjects that are best for them. Because whilst I love going into a history lesson or spending time in geography and absolutely love the virtue of learning languages, they're not for all of our students. it's not the right thing for us to shoehorn them into certain subjects. So we offer the students the choice across the range of subjects for them to choose the ones that are important for them. So we put the students before our Progress 8 score, which then has a negative impact on our Progress 8 score, but we don't mind that so much because it's the young people that are the most important. You may well have seen, talking of our achievements, we had an Ofsted inspection back in the summer term. There was an awful lot from that inspection to celebrate, and whilst we were disappointed with the overall grade, which I'll talk about a little bit later on as well, we were really buoyed by lots of comments around how well and how set up the school is to go on and be even more successful in the future. If Ofsted inspectors had had a concern about the leadership and management of the school, they would have been back within 6 weeks. They didn't have a concern about the leadership and management and said that our leadership and management was strong, which means that we know exactly what the issues are. Actually, we're working really hard and have been for quite some time to combat those issues, and we're now seeing lots of progress in those areas. But at the time of the inspection, we haven't had quite enough time to make much traction on those as we wanted. But they've got full confidence in the fact that we will do just that. So instead of coming back within inside 6 weeks, they're going to be back inside a year to 2 years, which gives us time for those plans that we've already talked about to be really, really successful. But from a parent's point of view, I picked out some of the important parts on there for you. The Ofsted report talks about young people being extremely well behaved in lessons and also around the school. It talks about bullying being infrequent. Bullying happens in every school because we've got 1,000 young people. Any school that tells you that it doesn't happen is lying to you. It happens in every school. What's great here is that it's very, very infrequent, and actually when it does happen, we're really strong in it. Really, really strong, and we have no tolerance of anyone doing that and mistreating anyone else within the school at all. And as a result of that, the students love coming to school, our attendance is excellent, and they feel well nurtured and cared for as well. Pupils are known as individuals and extremely well cared for. Lots and lots of nice things about subjects and lots of nice words around how, within the 2 years that I've been at the school, we've managed to raise those expectations of our staff and the expectations